That was. Do you remember COVID?
This is him now.
Yeah. That was the Ricky Rubio offseason.
Rashad Rubois.
Yeah, we don't actually have to say hello and welcome because it's not a normal pod.
Why not?
Hello, well, we're recording.
Is that just your style guide? No hello and welcome?
Yeah.
Bit of any fan or aircon situation.
Nah, that's it, man.
Alright, good.
Are you hot?
No.
I'm actually not hot. I'm going sleeveless.
Oh yeah, you got that
As
ice
you
on
might
your
have
neck.
noticed.
He's wearing the Trae Young jersey. The Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
No, it's because of the ice on his neck.
That's not what I said though.
Oh, who are you responding to? He or he?
Hey.
Fuck.
Okay. Well, we're keeping all of this in.
Yeah. Ales, do you want to introduce us? What are we doing now?
Yeah, we're doing a 4-man weave plus Marco minus Dante plus first time guest Remy Picciani.
Who the hell is that?
Picciani. Fuck
Who
yeah.
the hell is that?
That'd be guys.
Oh, that's
You actually don't want to do that.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Is that a bit?
That's a bit.
I think I did that bit on my first 4-man wave as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you happen to be on a phone though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. That was my second one.
You
But
didn't
I
fuck
did
up
make
with
that
the
joke as well.
You didn't fuck up with the spoon in the bowl.
I did not fuck up with the spoon in the bowl.
One time Marco had COVID. He actually had COVID a few times.
No, he had it once.
Three. Oh, no.
Bro, that's
It is when I didn't have it.
I reckon we
friend
talked
right
about
there.
this on the podcast.
Yeah.
So my bad.
But it's good. The listeners are familiar with the story.
But yeah, we were all in the studio. It was the first time after COVID, and we booked out the Trove studio. And we went in like, oh my god, we're real podcasters. We're in a studio. And then Marco was on the phone, and it was just like hard for you to track the conversation.
Yeah.
Because it was like a bit of a delay.
But everything I said was 10 times funnier than it would have been if I
Oh,
was in the
yeah.
room.
Good, dude.
The 7-second time delay.
It was so good.
Man.
Those are the days, weren't they?
But let me just start the podcast.
Hey.
We're talking not long after the All-Star weekend happened, and as usual, it was quite underwhelming. But does anyone, I don't know, maybe Lucas, have any ideas on? Because let's not talk about the actual weekend, maybe until a little bit later. But how can you make it better? Because this isn't the first time we've said the All-Star weekend sucks. So Lucas, tell us your idea about how to make it better.
And it's also not the first time we've talked about this. My first ever appearance on the Deep 2 NBA podcast with Sean and Dante, we did talk about how to make the All-Star weekend better. I think episode 42.
Wow.
And on my last episode here as well, guys. So my idea this time is... So pick the... do we pick the teams at the same time?
Yeah, I think it happens as usual.
Mid-season, yeah.
Pick the teams as usual, do all the All-Star, not on-court stuff as usual, but then do the All-Star weekend the week before the preseason for the next preseason. So the weekend is more like remembering the season that passed, celebrating the season that passed, and then also maybe the players will try, and maybe they want to show everyone what they've been working on in the off-season, etc., etc. Because the way it is just so bad. I watched, I reckon, a minute and a half of the game, and I was like, what's happening? Who's this for? This isn't basketball, as everyone who played said. So yeah, definitely I think as is, it's not ideal for anyone, and it does need to be fixed.
Yeah. When you suggest that in the group chat, I didn't think you were talking about getting guys to actually try on the court. I was thinking it was pretty good because then it's just away from the rest of the season. You don't have to worry about it. But that's also good if they play harder.
But I think that's the benefit is we spoke about this on the JVG NBA tribute show, which you can get wherever you get your podcast. Briefly. But players have other things on their mind in February, they're in the middle of the season. It's just after the trade deadline, you've played a few games with you and your teammates, you're settling into a new rhythm, you're either all right, cool, are we going to coast for the playoffs? Or all right, we need to start playing good basketball so we make the playoffs. Especially this season, there's so many teams that are not securely in playoff contention in both conferences that that's going to be on your mind. So yeah, that might be the added bonus of taking it away from, taking all the bullshit away from the actual NBA season. Also might make the players be oh cool, I have nothing to lose right now, so why not actually play in the game?
Yeah. A good thing as well is if you do the 3-point contest as well, then you can enter the season. If let's say Buddy Hill he can enter the season as the 3-point champion, and it's like, oh, is his season going to be better because he's got to like defend his crown? I mean, that's a little bit bullshit. But remember, you actually watched the game.
I did.
What were your takeaways?
Lucas only watched a minute. I regret watching the whole thing. It was just a consistent level of lowlights. Yeah.
Were you Team LeBron or Team Giannis?
I was Team Giannis because Dame was on it. Yeah.
Oh, true.
So I'm a big Portland man.
Mm.
That's how I got into basketball. And yeah, it just got embarrassing. He went about 0 for 10 at one point.
Oh wow!
And then he just kept trying to hit half court shots. And it was so bad.
You say it's so weird.
Yeah.
But hit the last one.
The
It's
game winner.
not about how you start. It's about how you
No.
Yeah.
What's that like Hello Human Resources meme? It's like Steph taking 10 half-court threes in the All-Star game, Dame taking 10 half-court threes in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
And the listeners also know what you're talking about.
Did you make the meme where it was like it was like Marco saying the Pels had like a D off-season, and Sean saying it? Hello.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, too soon. I think my two notes on Lucas's idea would be like, I don't know if they would give a shit at this like preseason, and should we pick the teams midway, or do you just pick the teams at the end of the year and have the All Stars be like for the season?
But then, yeah. And that's a lot of work for the media people. They've got to pick all NBA teams as well.
They'll be fine.
Yeah,
They'll be so fine.
Poor
No,
them.
that's fair
Yeah.
enough. Because like the all NBA teams are like, oh, that's actually like that's it. That's the 15 best dudes, and then the All Stars like 26 best dudes.
Yeah.
Then you don't need injury replacements. Then you don't get
No, they
like
make
stupid
it, I
ones.
think.
No, but like
I like
then
going
because-
all the way to the 40th best player.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you simulate that if you're injured in pre-season? Then they pick someone before the season started. But then you also like then Jared Allen's never an All-Star. So if
I can
mum-
believe
But like,
that.
yeah, that's okay.
Might be
Neither's
the price you
D'Angelo
have to
Russell,
pay.
neither's like...
we've got his mum on the phone.
Neither's Kyle Korver. Was he an injury replacement?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Hawks had 4.
Yeah.
Murray Carroll didn't make it.
Alright, cool.
I think the whole weekend would have some more meaning though. Like, you know, I said this in the group chat. Have the like championship ceremony at the beginning of the All-Star weekend. Like, you know, all the players are there. They're like, you know, they've had however many months off. They're all relaxed. They're all just hanging out, and then you like give the ring to the winning team.
Yeah.
You know, do this sort of presentation ceremony. Do the same for the season awards, because like whenever the MVP wins MVP, it's like it's such a weird point in the playoffs, and it's like.
Yeah, second round.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so Jokic isn't even playing basketball at the moment anymore. Like he's in Serbia riding his horse around when they're announcing who the MVP is. Why not do it when like, you know, all of the NBA is there?
Yeah, and then you could probably get some good moments where it's like Steph gets given a ring and there'll be a photo of LeBron in the back looking all miserable and shit. And it's like, oh, that'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you also get to gloat a little bit instead of just having some... Because the opening night as a champion, it's always like... And I would know because I've been a champion for 4 times. It's always just some shit team that you're going to beat up no matter what. And they have to awkwardly sit there for 10 extra minutes after the game starts. But now you get to do it in front of everyone and be like, oh, fuck you, we're the champion.
I wonder if Jokic would go because he looks so disinterested.
Yeah, like another week I have to spend
Yeah.
in America. Yeah.
But even like Lucas saying, like, they said, what are you excited for in the All-Star weekend? He's like, oh, I can't wait till the game's over. I'm going to go to Mexico for a couple of days. Then they can just go to Mexico for a couple more days.
True.
And get a break, as opposed to like having to walk out there and not jump for alley-oops because they're buggy.
Luka has historically the worst 25 games at the end of the season every year because he's in Mexico drinking and smoking for 2 weeks.
He's in Mexico mode.
Yeah.
Also, could you imagine how much better the content would be if NBA players had 6 weeks off in Mexico versus the All-Star? Like, imagine, like, it just takes one photo of Luka drinking beer in a pub,
Oh,
and like
man.
that made fucking 3 months of me. I was like, just like having a bad day. Oh, but there is that photo that exists.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I'm having a bad day because I'm thinking about the All-Star weekend.
I'm envisioning like Ja Morant and the Grizzlies like joining a cartel.
Or making one.
Well, yeah, that's right. I can just see it. Like,
A laser cartel.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, like creating hits on other NBA players that are also in Mexico,
Oh my god.
trying to like take their drugs. I don't know. I just like
Are you cut because he didn't play when you were in Memphis?
I hate him. I hate him. Yeah.
Team Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. And he's like the worst bloke in the world.
Yeah. And have you seen their records since bloody Shannon Sharp did the thing?
Yeah. Right.
It's that terrible.
What is it?
It's like 2-6 or something.
Damn.
Stephen Adams has been out that entire time.
Who's Shannon Sharp again? I remember seeing that, but who is
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The big guy.
Yeah,
Bayless.
ESPN ex-NFL player.
Skip Bayless's partner on Fox.
Yeah.
Ah.
I can't believe they made a whole show. They got Skip Bayless like, wait, if the guy hates LeBron, let's get someone who loves LeBron. And it's like, they were like, Fox, we got the idea. And Fox was like, oh my god, it's gold. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, Fox has a crowd to tend to, and the crowd is like zero brain cells.
Mm.
So they know their base. Like the conservatives in the US, they know their base, and the base is really simple to hit. Just create content for people that know nothing,
As opposed to us.
who know a lot.
We're a pretty cerebral podcast.
Any other things about All-Star Weekends? Anyone want to mention Mac McClung's name, or should we just
Move on.
Well, speaking of another Mac, that's a lot of saying.
Oh yeah.
The Atlanta Hawks have fired Nate McMillan, according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. Hawks got a 29-30 record at the moment, and I've written here that they're struggling to find an identity. You can pitch in at any time, Remy.
Pun included. Pun intended.
Where?
Peach.
Oh, pitching.
Yeah.
This is also weeks after Travis Schlenk was demoted to an advisory role, while Landry Fields was elevated. And also, when Landry Fields got elevated, there was that comment that Nick Ressler, Tony Ressler's son, the owner's son, has been taking over like a bigger role. And Trae Young has got his second coach fired. So who wants to start this off?
I think I can speak on this. I'll jump in quickly before the guy that's wearing a Trae Young jersey.
Rip Bozo.
I think I can speak on this like first-handedly because my team did it as well. But like, you deserve it if you don't draft Luka.
Yeah, well, you deserve all the bad luck.
Yeah. That's my point. I don't want to follow on with that.
Is this bad luck though? Like, you know.
No. So you drafted the guy that's not Luka, and now he's like shitting on your franchise. You're like, all right, well, this is the guy you chose. You chose like the next Steph Curry, which was never going to happen, right? And then we chose like the 6'8" power forward that's not big enough to play power forward and also can't shoot, but wants to play small forward, etc., etc. So you deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I think this is like, this doesn't solve any of the problems in Atlanta. Firing Nate McMillan, like Alessa's sort of said. However, I do think there's sort of like a Steve Nash thing going on here. Where it's like, all right, you did need to fire the coach. Like, that is part of it. Like, their play on the court has been so stale. Nate obviously had no idea how to play Trae and DeJounte together. Like, they should be one of the like best passing, most fluid teams in the NBA, and like, God, like they run two completely different offenses depending who's running point, and both of them are bad. Trae Young's having a down year. I don't think you can really blame that on Nate, but then also like, if he's having a down year, he's probably finding whoever he can to blame. Like, he does just seem like that sort of player who's like, all right, well, if I'm unhappy, something's wrong and something's got to change. So, I don't know. Hopefully someone can come in and at least kind of figure out how to play their two guards together, because I think it feels like a massive waste of talent for them to be this bad. Or this disappointing, I suppose.
Do either of you have anything you'd like to add?
It's all been summed up. It's just a depressing situation.
Yeah, I actually did. I was just looking for the Woj tweet. So they just basically Woj tweeted a couple hours after they dropped Nate McMillan as coach that they were the Hawks were had begun their wide-ranging search for a new head coach. Maybe that should have started already. You've just fired your head coach. And I think my only thing is, I don't think Trae Young is worth firing one head coach for, let alone two. And I think there might be some...
You're short selling him a little bit.
Well, he's good, but he's not that good. I'd fire a coach for Luka.
God, yeah.
I would not fire a coach for trade.
Also, it's been 23 months since they fired Lloyd Pierce.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that there's a lot of weird organizational stuff happening in Atlanta, and if I was a free agent, I probably wouldn't sign there.
And the playoff run was clearly like a vibe run. It wasn't a talent run.
Not even, it was just a bad vibe for everyone else. Like, first the Knicks, who were maybe overqualified.
Way over.
And then Philly with the Ben Simmons not taking a shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Made it.
And the DeJounte, when he left San Antonio, decided to also leave behind all of his mentality. Of being a team player and doing everything else. Then he comes to Atlanta and he's like, well, I guess I'm going to be the point guard now. Yeah. It's like, do you know who you're playing with?
But like, what is he meant to do? Like,
well, yeah,
he can't stand off ball and
But so don't trade for him. You just go back and it's like, why the fuck would you put him next to that guy?
But I think we spoke about it on a pod like after they made the trade. It's like there's still this excitement that like Trey could be really good off ball while DeJounte is running it. Yeah. But now it's like, what, you just keep them off the floor together as much as possible. And then it's like, all right, well, then DeJounte's not doing the one thing that he's doing well, which is kind of like making up for the fact that Trae Young is 6'0" and can't defend.
Mm-hmm. It's like the Westbrook thing where like, I think you wrote in the run sheet, John Holland just said like, Westbrook will be really good at the Clippers.
I'll read it out for you.
Go.
Russ will be fine there as long as he does stuff he's never done.
Exactly. Which is what we said before Washington, and definitely what we said before the Lakers. And it's like, now he'll do it. Now he'll set a screen and like stand in the corner and roll to the
LeBron can change it.
Exactly. If LeBron can do it, like Kawhi and Paul George can, sure.
Tyler player whisperer.
That's all. They have to be banking on Tyler. They have to be. The Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers. Well, should we move on to that? So Russell Westbrook is signed with the LA Clippers. And John Hollinger tweeted. So he's expected to start. That was actually reported. Russell Westbrook's going to start basketball.
Oh
God. That's pretty fucked up. I was feeling really good about the Clippers. You know, the Ringer, The Athletic had a couple of articles that were like, oh, Kawhi's back. Like, Kawhi's, and it was a fucking cyborg photoshopped onto his head. And it's like, oh, no, he's weird, but like, maybe you're bullying him, whatever. But it was like, this is like really turning around. Trey Mann, as your point guard, is exactly what you need with those two wings.
Terrence or Trey?
Terrence,
yeah.
Terrence Mann, just 3-and-D at the point guard position. That's fucking perfect. Bones Highland can shoot off the catch and off the dribble when like space is being created for him. Maybe not a 6th man of the year this year. And then they just got Russell Westbrook, the complete wrong cunt. There you go. I've definitely said that.
I searched up Russell Westbrook in Google. I was going to make a joke about his age, about like, he's going to change his game at 34. Laugh track. But it says current team, United States national basketball team, which is all I need to know. Man, we talked about this on the Jeff Van Gundy, whatever Marco said before.
Where can you get that?
Legitimately anyway. On air, off air, off air.
Do you sell hats?
We do. $500.
I actually just gave one to other Sean on Sunday on your birthday when I was a bit drunk.
Like, actually gave your hat to him?
Well, I it was a spare, and he was like, "Oh, I've been meaning to buy a hat." I'm like, "Just take it." So I should probably message him.
Although, you did say we'll organise payment.
Yeah. But then, kept drinking. So
we're also selling shirts. But well, you've already said your things. Should we go to the new? No, we'll say it for the Deep Blue audience.
Well, this is just so bad for everyone, like, not just the Clippers, but, like, all the players on the Clippers. Like, what? Bones left Denver in part because he wanted a bigger role or, like, more freedom or whatever the fuck he wanted. And now, like,
I don't know what he wants, but he hates Jamal Murray.
And now his minutes have just been cut in half because it's like, all right, there's no way that Terrence Mann is like falling out of the rotation and you're running Russ and Bones. Also, if you're running Russ and Bones, I hate that. Like, if that's your point guard rotation, that's terrible. So what? You're running like, 18 minutes of them each a night. You can't really run Russ less than like 26 minutes or he gets upset. Or Paul George gets upset as well.
Why's Paul George?
He's so dumb. He's so dumb.
It sounds like this was his request, to bring in a guy that, I don't know what, he had a tiny bit of success with in OKC, like
half a season.
Yeah. And so it's like, what, Russ will probably play better when he's on the floor with Paul George and Kawhi, because like in LA he was best when he was out there with LeBron, but he was bad, and he was even worse when he wasn't on the floor. So like, if you're running Russ in the bench unit, it's gonna look terrible. So yeah, just where did the minutes come for all these guards, and how do you make them good?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you sort of combine this into a satisfactory guard rotation.
And as for what I said, I was like, okay, cool. So they made the trade for Norman Powell a couple years ago, maybe a year ago now. Not saying that was a good or a bad deal. I actually think it's a good deal. But you could have made that trade for a point guard. You then back that up by making a point guard rotation, Reggie Jackson and John Wall. And now it's fucking Bones Highland and Russell Westbrook. So you have one top 60 point guard, and it's your fault.
Yeah, and they also traded for Eric Gordon, who can run point guard a bit.
Really?
If it was just Terrence
Mann.
If it was just Terrence Mann and Eric Gordon in the playoffs, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm.
It was just Terrence Mann and Luke Kennard in the
I
playoffs.
understand that. But I do feel like the role they're going for the Clippers is to have like someone they can play make at the one.
But they don't need that.
I understand they don't need that, but Kawhi and PG aren't really playmaking for anyone else, and I feel like you kind of need that like that playmaking point guard to like
Like a John Wall type.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
dead set though.
Or
Miles
Reggie
Plumlee?
Jackson.
no, Miles Plumlee's a good player.
Elbow Plumlee.
Marshall.
Excuse me.
Marshall.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson had like the skill set they needed. Ty Lue couldn't fix it. And now it's like, all right, well, we'll give you someone who's shit up.
Reggie Jackson was a good fit when he was good, and then he just stopped being good about 2 years ago.
Do you, Remy, do you like Russell Westbrook?
Did you ever?
Nah.
Even
Too low. Alright, should we move on?
No, when Dave waved them off in the playoffs, was that Oklahoma?
There was.
Yeah.
Oh,
So in
yeah.
PG's face. That was great.
Yeah,
Wasn't there for it.
when did you start being a Portland fan?
The bubble.
that wave.
Okay,
Bubble.
that was him saying it was
Remy.
come over here. So you saw like a good month, and then it's kind of been Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Oh
that.
yeah, you missed all the good balls.
Yeah, the two good waves Dame had.
Sean wouldn't know how that feels because his team's
No.
been a champion like 4 times.
Yeah.
He drafted James Wiseman. I had to watch James Wiseman for half
Oh, pull the
year.
other one, mate.
How's that Troy? Was it Troy Weaver? Who's the Detroit guy?
Yeah, Troy Weaver.
Yeah, they interviewed him live on a Fox Sports broadcast, like a Detroit broadcast, and it's like, so why'd you trade for James Wiseman? He's like, yeah, we just needed someone to compete.
We needed front court depth because in the Eats they all have good big
Yeah.
front courts.
Yeah.
Bro, just say you wanted to fucking take a flyer on a
That's
prospect.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everyone knows
You've
that.
got 2 prospect centers. You wanted a third.
You're dead last.
Yeah, you've got nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave up nothing. You gave up a player you didn't want to pay. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so whatever.
but like, if the first thing you're saying is he competes, it's like, oh fuck.
Well, you shouldn't be in Detroit.
Yeah, and also there's some French kid in the draft.
Yeah.
I think he plays
Killian
center.
Hayes.
Also, he doesn't compete.
Victor.
So you need Big Jim.
Big Jim. No, Big Jim doesn't compete.
Oh, I thought you meant Victor does.
No, no,
Big Jim
I mean,
is a mentor.
Maybe. Yeah.
Victor's the best player.
I think getting him into mentor Victor.
Alright.
Well, that's why I'm surprised that Orlando traded Mo Bamba, because he would have mentored Victor. They've got the same dimensions.
Nah, I'm getting well for that.
Oh, is that true? Oh, God. Cut that out.
Niece Kylie. Patrick Beverley. What are your thoughts, Remy, on Patrick Beverley?
Where did he go?
He went to Chicago.
Yes. Yeah, what was this thing about? He was on his own podcast where he looked like a guest.
He looks like a guest on his own
He was
podcast.
tossing up between Golden State and
Yeah.
Chicago.
I've got the quote here for you. It says it was between Golden State and the Bulls. Obviously, it's always good to play with a lot of great talent in Golden State, but you know, a lot of guards over there. And now it says, throw to a less here, please.
Yes. Cap.
Yeah, 100%.
Cap.
That can't be true.
Cap. There is no... Alright, so this was the take. The only reason that Golden State would, like, throw their name in the Patrick Beverley basket is so that another team would pick him up because they think he's
Oh
shit.
my god, light years.
Yeah, literally. They're like, big brain. They're like, if we say we're going to sign him, other people will want to sign him because they'll think he's good. We obviously won't because, like, we're not stupid. Well, I mean, you drafted Wiseman, but whatever. someone else picks him up, and then like a lot of guards over there. It's like you just listed the guards that the Bulls currently have on their roster.
Well, we haven't, but Alex Caruso, A.O. Dunsumi, Goran Dragic, Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and Alonzo Ball, who's out for the rest of the year. But yeah, he grew up in Chicago.
Don't know.
I don't know.
Go back to Minnesota.
Andrew Bogut grew up in Victoria, but he didn't care who he played for.
Yeah. He also doesn't care for those bloody pandemic roles.
Yeah, I reckon it was like one of those things where it was like I was choosing between the Warriors and the Bulls, but only the Bulls offered me a contract.
Yeah, I wanted the Warriors.
I think this potentially could be the first roster move the Bulls have made since the start of the season. I was watching...
Nah, surely they dropped Dalen Terry and picked up a two-way.
Oh, I think they did that.
I'm just talking.
No, I was watching it. I was watching... I can't remember what. It was someone was playing the Bulls, and it was on the day of the trade deadline, and they just said there are only two teams in the NBA that haven't made a move this season, and one of them is the Chicago Bulls.
And then in his trivia. But...
Yeah, and I never found out who the other team was because they bloody all made moves. But it's quite crazy to think that the Bulls haven't made a move.
Yeah.
Like.
Considering they should have.
In either direction.
Yeah.
And then the first move they do make is signing Patrick Beverley off waivers.
So, I was on Reddit. Sorry, Mark.
No, you
this takes precedent. I said the R word. And then there's a bunch of Bulls fans that were just like, "Oh, finally we did something." Blah blah blah. And they said, "Oh, hopefully it makes us worse." So then they lost their last game before the All-Star break, and their chances of getting a top 4 pick went to like 7.2.
From?
And they're all cheering it from like 6.4. But they're all cheering it because they're like, "That's the only way we get out of this. Our pick goes up to the top 4, we get to keep it from Orlando."
That's so sad when even your fans on Reddit recognise that's the situation you're in. Because, you go on Pelicans Reddit and they're all brain dead.
Really?
Even for a relatively okay team as well. Because I don't hate the idea of anyone signing Patrick Beverley. Like, I think he's got value. But, like, how he doesn't move the needle for this team at all. And, like, the needle needs so much moving.
What are they gaining outside of, like, someone playing 25 minutes?
It isn't actually going to make him worse, I don't think.
He was good last year, and he might be better than Goran Dragic this year.
Yeah, but this team isn't very good. They've got a long way to get into the playoffs, and I don't think Pat Bev actually makes them bad enough to get a top 4 pick.
Yeah, but outside of a couple of flash highlights that go up in basketball forever, he's been shit at Los Angeles as well.
Yeah, he's been bad this year.
Yeah.
He could have been better. Sorry.
If he wasn't with LeBron and Russ.
Yeah, if he didn't have to play with like 7 other guards on his roster.
But also, if he can be the 4th best shooter on the court, then I think his value's definitely higher.
Yeah,
he was like
but
sometimes
they
the
needed
best
to be
shooter.
the exactly.
Yeah.
I think he might have had the best 3-point percentage.
I reckon we can almost look it up.
Yeah, look, I'm not the host of this podcast, but we need to move past it.
I'm thinking between every list, we ask Remy a question. Do you go on Reddit much?
Yeah.
Alright, so Kevin Love has signed with the Miami Heat. He wanted more playing time and was willing to leave Cleveland after he fell out of rotation. Warriors, Suns, 76ers were interested, but he signed with Miami. He only gave up $1.5 million in this buyout, and by signing with the biennial exception with the Miami Heat for $3.2 million, he actually gains money on his $40 million contract. And then there was some dude in Cleveland who were like, they said, "Oh, we're going to retire Kevin Love's jersey. Like, he's an all-star. He helped us win a title. Like, he's the best dude ever." But then there was some other report that didn't come from the organisation, but it was where else would it have come from? And they said that there's only 2 people in the league who love money more than anything. And that's Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson. So they're just no wonder Kevin Love found a way to get out of his contract and make more money. Which I thought was just a nice little interesting tidbit. I would have liked him to come to Golden State. Who wants to take this?
So his dedication to Cleveland, he was there 4 great seasons, and then he stuck it through the hard years, a good locker room presence. It was just because he was on a $30 million a year contract.
He wasn't throwing the ball at Colin Sexton's head, fighting with every coach.
He asked for a trade every single time.
Yeah, very mature, very mature. Yeah.
A vet. Good to have a steady vet throwing balls at Colin Sexton.
He'll get more minutes in Miami.
They need a power forward.
Yeah, he'll get more minutes, but also Miami's not going to win anything. So I'm a little bit wouldn't you want to go somewhere that'll win? But if he just wants the minutes,
and $2.7 million more dollars.
Well, yeah, just take it.
I can't believe he loves money that much. I would have thought he wouldn't be one of those money lovers, but he seems to be one of those money lovers.
What gives you that impression? The GQ features, or
Wait, what?
well, why do you think Kevin Love loves
It's
money?
because he's cerebral.
It's in his fucking name.
No, he just doesn't. He just. I just don't. I just didn't expect him to be like that. But I just think actually, I have. No, I think I had a soft spot for him after
Yeah.
LeBron called him out on Twitter.
Yeah.
But now I think I'm on Team LeBron. Sorry, Giannis. I think this is good for the Heat, though. Just anyone that has put a ball in the goal
Yeah.
before helps this team tremendously. What do they have right now? Tyler Hero
Power forwards part.
at putting goals in.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Butler, like he does it when he has
Okay,
to.
1.5.
Yeah.
Bam Adebayo
Doesn't like
doesn't
doing
do
it.
in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah, well, Bam Adebayo like commented. They were like joking comments on his like on the report of Kevin Love being like, "I'm going to Miami," and he commented
that
like,
was on my Insta post. You find it up and down stream.
"Don't cut me off for that." So Bam Adebayo was like, "Well, you better score some fucking buckets."
Oh, yeah, I saw that,
And then
yeah.
Kevin Love was like, yeah, whatever." And it's like,
You better
Bam-
open the space for me or something.
yeah,
He
that's
said,
right. Bam Adebayo is lucky that Ben Simmons is shit. Because if Ben Simmons didn't have his like offensive decline, then we would all be looking at Bam Adebayo being like, "Have you done anything
Yeah.
in the last 5 years? Have you learned how to do a single thing?"
I think he's at least averaged nearly 20 points a game for a couple of seasons, whereas Ben.
But like but he averages 20 a game because like there's no one else on the roster. And you go into the playoffs and he scores like 12.
But Miami only needs to score like 90 to win.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! So anytime he shoots a jump shot, to your point, Alice, it's like the worst thing for the Heat. Does everyone want to have a guess? Trivia time at what Bam Adebayo is shooting from the 3-point
Remy
line
first.
this season.
Start with 2.
I'll tell you at the end. Alright, we'll go starts with the 2.
23.
I would say 25.
31.
You are all off.
Start
It
with
was 9%.
Oh,
Wait, this year.
Oh my
This
god, he's
season
worse than
starts
John
with
Wall.
John Wall was 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he's not worse than John Wall.
He's not.
He's bad.
Unbelievable.
Isn't it like golf? You want the smaller number? Should we move on?
One last thing. I saw a tweet that was like, "Oh, it's so nice when bigs like Embiid, Ayton, and Adebayo take jumpers on the short roll." I'm like, I've never seen Bam do that before in my entire life.
I feel like he's copping a lot of fucking strays.
Yeah.
He's a good defensive.
No, I really like Bam.
We're not talking about his defense.
We legit haven't
Remember-
gotten onto his
remember when we were watching it with friend of the program, Sam, and he goes for Boston. And we were watching like some conference finals or something, and Bam just was like petrified of looking at the rim. It was like game 7, and he was like, I can't take a shot. I have to, like, if I catch it wide open, I'm dribble handoffs immediately.
Game 7 Bam.
Yeah, game 7 Bam.
So Remy, how many points did Sam score in a basketball game?
Was that the question?
Yeah.
I was going to ask him his favourite colour.
No. That's a good one that we should save that.
Yeah, do the Sam one.
Yeah, forget
Sam's
that.
career high. in
Yeah, Sam's
basketball.
career high in
Have you
basketball.
met
No,
Sam?
I'm not Sam.
So just imagine someone just like us but good at basketball.
Yeah.
And he goes to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
I actually think it explains a lot about him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the 40s?
I'll give you a hint.
Well, I'm way too generous.
I'll give you a hint. His fantasy team name is the 64-point sluts.
Okay, that's not a hint.
It is a hint.
Yeah.
64. Congrats, Sam. Big game, mate.
And he had one dude like heavy guarding him the whole way because he was getting pissed off so he kept hitting threes. You can learn about it on the JVGMB or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
we
What they
hosted
said.
it.
Let's not spend too much time on this, but Cody Zell is also starting.
Good, great.
I don't think he loves money as much. Did you know he's a motivational speaker?
No.
Go on his Instagram, it's the cringest thing ever.
Wasn't his wife selling like protein bars?
Don't all their wives?
Maybe he does love money a lot then.
Maybe he loves protein. For fuck's sakes.
No, his wife. His wife.
Loves not making
His
fucking
wife
protein
loves
bars. He's cashing. But should we talk about Von Looney's wife?
Is that a question for Remy?
Remy, what's your favourite colour? But quick, because this next one's going to be grey value.
Not Navy.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Navy,
Yeah.
damn.
That's not. That's not.
Navy what?
Well, not the army.
Um,
Sorry.
Myers Leonard has signed a 10-day contract
Speaking of the army,
with the Milwaukee Bucks. Myers Leonard, former Portland Trailblazer and Miami Heat,
and former streamer.
former streamer of COD Warzone, was banned from the league in March 2021 for using an anti-Semitic slur during a live game stream.
Was he banned or just no one signed him?
He was banned for a week and then Miami dropped him and no one signed him
yeah.
until now. He received a $50,000 fine, which, you know, when you're Myers Leonard and you love money as much as Kevin Love does. But who wants to talk about Myers Leonard rejoining the NBA?
Was it his wife that was... I'm going to find this out. I need to find out whose wife was selling protein. Someone else told.
Did he have some sort of rehab? Like, he said some injury.
He did. Oh, yeah, he was rehab.
And Woj's tweet looked like it linked the two together. Or
Yeah.
almost linked them. So he was having rehab for the streaming.
Yeah. Well, you have to go and examine yourself and just do work and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know how he's going to work on the Milwaukee Bucks. No, I don't get this. I don't get why they need a Myers Leonard on their roster even for 10 days. Like, like are they taking a flyer? We've spoken about this. Like, Milwaukee's so playoff ready as it is. Like, I think they've got such a good roster. Why do you need to take a flyer on this guy as you get into that stage of the season where you're like, cool, if he's good, then like we're gonna sign him because he's gonna be in our 12-man rotation in the first few rounds. Yeah.
Who's he the insurance for? Because it's like if Lopez goes out, Portis and Crowder, and is there another big there that I'm missing?
Yeah, Matson, Scheffler,
Yeah.
How do you say
And then,
Okay.
but no. So that if those,
Manu.
if one of those two is out, fucking Giannis. And then if two of those two are out, you can just play Giannis 45 minutes, the other one 35.
Nah, if two of them are out, you've just lost the final.
That too, but like, and then if three of them are out, I think you just look elsewhere. Like, papering up what those guys do with Myers Leonard isn't the solution. Run four guards and Giannis and just like, run up and down the court. This does seem weird, unless he's like, imagine he's like so good. Like, it's just incredible.
He's shot 50, 40, 90 for a season for the Portland Trailblazers.
Wow.
Numbers to start with. But yeah, also just a bit of a shit bloke.
Yeah.
Doesn't pass the beer test.
Like, also when there are other 7-footers still on the, like, you know, like Hassan Whiteside's available.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to sign him, but like, if you have to sign a guy who's 7 feet tall, sign Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's available.
Yeah.
Probably like another Zeller brother that you can get as well. Like,
Or Plumlee.
Yeah.
But even Mason Plumlee only took, I guess, no, he's getting paid $9 million, so no. But,
weird guy to take a flyer on.
It should just be 10 or 20 days. Final one before we go to a break, but Will Barton has been bought out by the Washington Wizards. No teams have been linked to him as of yet. Like to see him go to a rebuilding team and just put some shots up. Will Barton, former Portland Trailblazer. Anyone?
Well, for Remy's question in between article head whatever's, what gun was Myers Leonard using when he got shot? I'll take any answer because I don't know. I'm gonna say it's like an MP5.
That's what I was gonna go. That was my go.
Really?
Yeah.
An MP5. It could also be a Tommy gun.
Are you looking at it?
Yeah. What's that? What's that?
I reckon MP5 is pretty safe.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've got a
question,
question.
Lucas.
I've got a question for Remy. Should we cut to a break?
Yeah.
Hold on. We should.
How's it?
Recording.
Remy, we've got a question for you.
Yes. Far away.
So, Jonathan Isaacs, you're probably familiar with him. He's a basketball player for the Orlando Magic. Who wrote the foreword to his book, Why I Stand?
That's a good question.
I feel like I heard something about how to deal with Ben Shapiro. Is it Ben Shapiro? Wow.
God.
That'd be worth spending $40 for.
Just for the forward.
I genuinely want to read it. I got to find out what's going on there.
I'm fully with you.
Yeah.
Just get the PDF.
I'll legally download it.
That's a book I will read if you ever want to offer it.
Cool. Well, Lucas, do you want to talk about what we're doing next?
Yeah, so we're revisiting the 2021 off-season grades by the Deep 2 Actually, while we're here, you can also find written articles at thedeep2.com by all of us. Remy is even writing the foreword for James White. Why I Sit. So yeah, we went back to episode 120 and 121, although you already knew that, being a long-time listener. And the four of us, minus Remy, sorry, picked a team, and we're regrading the grades that Sean and Dante gave these teams.
Remy's going to do
Portland.
And Remy's going to do Portland.
Carly, grab that out.
Yeah, so grab that out, these Carly, as they say. Sean, do you want to take us away with, I don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers?
How did you know? I wrote a couple of paragraphs on them. They're not paragraphs, they're sentences. I gave the LA Lakers off-season in 2021 a D+, and Dante gave it a B. You might know this off-season as the one that they traded KCP, Trez, and Kuzma for Russell Westbrook. And yeah, this is very short, but I'm just going to take a little bit of a victory lap before I get absolutely demolished by the rest of you guys. But yeah, Dante thought this would just have them coasting and just have them treading water and getting 50 wins, never win anything beyond that, but he thought they'd be making the playoffs or at least the 8th seed. And I said, no, they won't. And I was wrong. And a notable little thing, this was actually the off-season that they signed Mac McClung after he went undrafted, and he played Summer League for the Lakers. Got a lot of likes on the socials, and then never played... Oh, no, he played one game, played 22 minutes and scored 6 points.
Big.
Any dunks? Any honey dippers?
I actually didn't go back and watch it. Fuck's no, I did, but, it sounds like that bloody rugby on bloody maths.
Oh, golly gosh.
But that's me done. But let's ask Remy a question, because we're going to move on to Marco. I don't have one, if anyone's got one.
What's your second favourite colour?
Navy.
Navy white.
Wow.
Ooh,
Damn.
I
Are
like
you
I
in
don't
the
know.
Navy?
Is Navy I thought Navy was a colour.
Yeah,
it's blue.
Well, I'm imagining. I'm
Yeah.
imagining navy white as like a bit of a darker, creamier white.
It's like
But there's like a grayness.
What do you call it? What do you call this?
What?
No.
Oh, the seam.
Yeah, but the accent, like it's the accent you have on Navy uniforms. You know?
Yes.
The Navy.
I do go for Carlton, so.
Oh
boy.
This all got really
Bring it on.
bad really quickly.
Okay.
Well, does anyone else want to talk on Sean, or do we just going to leave it?
That season was so bad.
I think most of us agreed with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
think-
was also they gave up Caruso for Taylor Horton.
Yeah.
basically.
It was,
That was
everything they
the-
did was wrong.
Yeah.
Every step they took was incorrect.
And yeah, they were a bad basketball team because of it, and they're just getting out of it now. But I mean, could you say that they've managed to successfully drag their way out of that bad off season? You know, with the D'Angelo Russell trade.
Well, yeah, it took them 2 years. Didn't it?
and like
Give up a pick.
and chances are they're definitely not out of it. Like they can still very much not make the play-in, let alone the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not going to win a title. And look, they gave up KCP, who's now the best role player on the number 1 seed in the league, or
In the
at least
West.
The West. And that sucks because LeBron would have a lot of fun playing with a good 3-and-D role player, and Lonnie Walker isn't that guy.
Lonald.
Should we move on to Marco? Or
Well, I was just gonna say, I understand where Dante was coming from. If I take myself back there, I do remember that being one of the perspectives. It was like, oh, Westbrook will just be the third star, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's fair enough. But then, as a Wizards fan, I was like, that's really awesome that you guys took Westbrook off of our hands for us, and we got the 3 best players in the trade. So yeah, thank you so much, Los Angeles.
Is Montrezl Harrell better than Russell
Oh my
Westbrook?
god, yes. Are you fucking kidding? Westbrook is the worst player in the league. I firmly believe that.
That
In
is.
terms of a lot of minutes.
I hadn't even thought about that. Like Kuzma is a near all-star, and Russ is so far from being an all-star.
And KCP's like really
An all-star role player.
Yeah. But you know, like Kuzma could be like third best player on a really good
If D'Angelo Russell's an all-star, then so is Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, if he was just in that
Shout out.
situation.
In that
Yeah.
thing, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. We already asked Remy a question. Damn it.
No, ask me another one.
Ask me another one.
What's your third favorite colour?
What's your least favorite color?
Okay, next one. What's your Mount Rushmore of colours?
That means 4.
Navy white.
Who's been your favourite role player in Portland?
That's a brutal question.
Yeah.
They're not too bad.
I can't even think of one.
I can't think of one either. I go for them.
Yeah.
Man, I keep coming up with names. I'm like, oh, yeah, Josh Hart. Oh no, he didn't shoot threes.
It has to be Norm Powell.
He's gone.
Right?
No, he was bad.
But like
He was bad when he
do
was
you mean
there.
right now?
I just mean that you've seen in Portland.
Yeah.
Norm was
They
bad.
all had their issues.
I think.
Yeah.
I like Josh Hart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When was he?
Yeah.
He was getting to
Yeah.
He tried. He gave Hart.
Yeah.
Who?
Damn.
No. Yeah.
Josh Hart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to knock Josh Hart because he actually is always trying
Yeah.
and always doing positive things, even if it's not shooting 3-pointers.
And he seems to really love the organisation, which
Yeah.
is nice. But
Yeah. He's a weird tweeter though.
Oh yeah.
God, he's a weird tweeter.
Yeah. Any y'all know any good date spots in the PDX?
Yeah.
No, Josh.
Just Google place restaurants to go to.
Ask someone.
Ask a teammate.
Ask
Yeah.
the manager.
Ask anyone.
The social media manager for
yeah,
the team.
yeah.
Dame
I
Lillard.
don't know why them.
Dame Lillard, he's lived there for 11 years.
Yeah.
He'll know some good spots.
Inbox Fred Armisen on whatever social media you
Yeah.
use.
Nah, Dame Lillard knows nothing about Portland because he's too busy in the gym.
Wow. There you
Damn.
go. Nah, he
No.
and CJ used to run around the malls together. That's what he said in his
If
players'
you want
track.
to outwork in front of thousands, you have to work out in front of no one.
Oh, really? Who said that?
Rupee core. Marco is taking the Miami Heat.
Get
from
that one
this.
sent me.
But did we ask Remy a question?
So the Miami Heat that off season, the main move was the trade for Kyle Lowry, which they didn't give up much for him, but did they then re-sign him as well, or did he already have? Was it a sign and trade? I'm asking you, Sean. Anyway, he came into Miami with 3 years on his contract, and he was already 36.
What the fuck did they?
I think it was a sign and
It
trade.
does feel as though something's
sign and
happening.
trade.
Yeah. They gave Duncan Robinson a 5-year contract, which you might have heard of, and then just made a couple of other little moves around the fringes. Dante gave it a B+, and Sean gave it an A.
And then they made the conference finals and were a B's tick away from making the finals.
They literally did make the conference finals, and they literally did miss out on the NBA finals by a B's dick. but Duncan Robinson, that's got to be a top 5 worst contract in the league now.
Yeah.
I think now that Russ is off his 40, that it's just easily, it's the least movable contract. Nobody wants him.
What's worse, Duncan Robinson on a 5 on 120 or Russ on a 1 for 5?
Fuck, man. That's a rock and a hard place.
Right, just to defend myself, the worst contract's probably Gordon Hayward. 3 for 9.
Even Darvin
Still,
sometimes.
he still exists.
At least he can.
Yeah.
At least when he's healthy, he's good on the floor.
Yeah.
Whereas Miami have to play Duncan Robinson sometimes, and it's always bad. Nobody wants him. I don't think there was any.
Yeah.
It was so obvious that they would trade him if someone wanted him, but
Yeah.
nobody wanted him. Kyle Lowry, he regressed that season. He only played 44 games, 50 games, something like that. I don't have a computer today. It's in the shop, so someone else is gonna have to fact check me on that. And he shot the ball very poorly. He's even worse this season. I think he's actually old and bad now.
Yeah.
And okay, cool. He's only got 1 year left. PJ Tucker, they signed him to I think it was a 2-year with a player option, and then he walked and got a better contract in for Philly. They just haven't been able to get anyone good playing the 4 this season until signing Kevin Love, I guess. I think this is splitting hairs, but could they use Precious Achua?
Yeah, you are splitting it.
But
and they could use pressure.
yeah. I think just having a guy of that size at the 4 would make this Miami team so much better.
What would you grade him if not an A or a B+?
I think I'd give it a C in retrospect, because
Yeah.
I think the Kyle Lowry thing was the right thing to do at the time.
Do you reckon they were already moving towards a conference finals berth?
I think so. Yeah, I think they had an off season the season before where they didn't really do anything to get better from the finals appearance. But their team was essentially the same. It had the same skeleton. Tyler Hero got a bit better. That was basically it. And then the Max Strus, Gabe Vincent signings were good. Miami's always good with those kind of around the fringes minimum contract moves. They can get a lot out of players that other teams can't. But I think that Duncan Robinson contract alone just brings the grade for this period down so much. And almost making it to the NBA finals isn't the Los Angeles Lakers trading for Anthony Davis, for example. Like, you know, you legitimately win the championship in that scenario, and then like when everyone's like, oh, but like look at how good all the picks that, you know, New Orleans are getting are, and like look at all the good players that you gave up for him, and like he's always hurt. It's like, yeah, you won a championship.
Yeah. Until the Pelicans win one.
Yeah, almost making the NBA Finals isn't the same as actually winning a championship.
Yeah.
So like it does make, you know, it does mean that the years after you make these moves matter a lot more, I think.
And like, I think at the time the Lowry thing was defensible because like Chris Paul was so good, and they were like, yeah, all right, we'll pay him when he's 39 and he's probably shit, but like we don't care if he's shit at 39 because we want him for 36, 37.
And but he was actually meant to be like the third star on that team, basically.
He just
like,
no, I don't think anyone foresaw it outside of maybe like Toronto, I guess, but no one saw him falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like that was really unexpected because his game suited the like getting old.
Yeah.
It's like just defend and shoot threes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
pass the ball.
and like run around. Yeah. So it was
He's
really
a big
crazy.
dude who could just jump off bodies. Like,
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
always finishing over giants and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Remy, do you like watching Miami?
Not particularly.
Yeah.
No.
That's a consensus here as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
They've lost their watchability.
I used to love Miami. They're like my favorite team to watch, apart from the Pels, basically.
They made the conference finals last year.
Yeah.
Isn't that so weird?
That was one of the worst, most unwatchable playoff runs in
Yeah.
history.
Even while it was happening, it's like, oh, they're shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I put this in the run sheet. Like, yes, if Jimmy Butler hits that 3, Miami Heat make the finals.
Yeah.
You never felt like they were going to win that series.
No.
Like, they didn't look like the better
Playing
team.
Golden State.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Remy, I've got a question.
Here we go.
What's less watchable? A Miami Heat regular season game or the All-Star game?
Well, that's very close. Yeah. About the same level of D.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Yeah, God. Swap the D for O.
Yeah.
I think Miami has to be more watchable, right? But I'm not like...
Not by much.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least
I'm
they're
sold
playing
on it.
against an NBA team.
Yeah.
This off-season was following that postseason where they got swept by the Bucks, I'm pretty sure, and that was the one that followed them making the finals. So this team has actually like been mad successful over the last few years, and I think it's been a fall, like a massive fall this season. I have a question for not only Remy but everyone. How many times has Jimmy Butler led the league in steals per game in the playoffs?
Oh, golly.
Like 6.
Oh my god.
I was going to say 4.
Once.
So much less.
Oh.
So much less. Twice.
Once.
But one of them was last
Remy would have
year.
guessed that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my bad.
What does it start with?
2. He led the league with 2.1 steals in his 17 appearances, and the other time he led in 2014-15, which would have been 2015, with the Chirac Bulls, 2.4 per game.
Wow.
Damn.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So since we gave Sean his flowers for the good Lakers call, Marco, do you want to jump in and give the opposite of flowers for the Pelicans?
I just have to have an honourable mention here.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like,
I'm actually right. That's the thing. I'm actually right.
so Sean gave the Pelicans that season an F+, which is just like, I think that's the lowest grade he gave anyone.
Why plus?
Because it made Dante laugh.
And now what?
Making Dante laugh is a lot harder than making us laugh. And I think it was in your peak killed David Griffin era as well.
Yeah, I got close.
So
I
just
was in New Orleans. I drove past the Smoothie King Center in an Uber.
just a couple of notes I got. Herb Jones didn't even make the run sheet, and he ended up being like a starter all season and like, you know, one of the better defenders in the league. Like we actually drafted so well that season. Trey Murphy has turned into a serious rotation piece. Jose Alvarado obviously had his like renaissance. We re-signed Josh Hart that off-season, and that became central to, you know, making the money work. And I think the value work in the CJ trade. Like, he was the player that Portland wanted in that trade. You know, I guess that doesn't affect how we grade the off-season, but it is worth mentioning. Jonas Valanciunas, okay, he's still just not a good fit next to Zion. I'm happy to admit that. But, like, in the, injury-riddled 2 seasons we've had with him, it's been nice having a guy who's on the floor and can score 20 and 12 when he's called upon to really do so.
Oh, so just making your pick a little bit worse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
True. But, I mean, we made the playoffs. The Devontae Graham contract was really bad. Giving out Lonzo Ball ended up being a really good move because he's played 33 games of basketball in the last 35. Sorry, I actually had written that down in the last 2 seasons, and he actually doesn't look like he's going to play probably even at the beginning of next season. So
he might not play ever again.
Yeah,
no, he will. It'll be like 2.
That's what they said this year.
In my defence, I feel like I get to defend myself
of course.
first. Trey Murphy, I was looking at it as the value for trading down with Stephen Adams. To get JV and moving out of the spot that was
Zaya Williams.
And I didn't know any of those guys.
Yeah.
He's just gone down from 11 to 17. We didn't include second round picks in this sheet. That's why he wasn't on the sheet.
I swear you did.
Don't check.
Sorry.
There you go. The next team, Ayo Donsumi, 38. Lonzo Ball had just shot 37% from 3, and then he's the dude you want next to that amazing dude like Zion. And Devontae Graham wasn't supposed to be that good. I actually spot that.
I think coming directly out of this, Lonzo and Caruso had that they shredded the league in the first half of the next season, and it was oh shit, what have New Orleans done?
Yeah. But then he stopped playing basketball.
Yeah, correct.
Willie Hernan Gomez, 3-year deal, even if that third year's not guaranteed. 3 years. DD Lazaro. Juice Lazaro.
Yeah. Well, again, he was crucial to the CJ trade.
Derek Temple, 3 for 15.
Yeah.
I know Kirby was the vice president of the Players Association.
Good bloke
he
too.
traded for Tomas Satoransky, who wasn't a good basketball player in Washington and continued to not be good.
He was good.
He was,
at the start.
But it's not
He
the
was
same.
so bad
it's not
for
the
us.
same criteria as good players.
Yeah.
For the backup point guard,
like
I was
a Satoransky way.
Yeah.
Like an Eastern European way, but not like Doncic and Jokic.
If I knew that they got 2 really good 3-year role players, it's oh fuck, okay, that's actually what you want. And yeah, it just sucks with Lonzo Ball because he's actually a really fun player.
I love him
so
so
good.
much. Yeah.
But he doesn't play basketball, so he's not really a basketball player. He's just a player. You can laugh. Yeah.
I can't believe LeVar Ball had 2 sons that are both actually good.
Yeah.
It's not. He don't, oh my god, how did that happen?
He fucking said, but.
Paul Lonzo.
No comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Lonzo.
Yeah, Ned texts me every time Leangelo signs for another G League team as an Instagram highlight.
As in, he wants him to be good? Or
Yeah, he's like, look, he's surely going to be in the league now.
Did he get drafted? By anyone?
No.
No, but he played in the G League for a bit.
And the Summer League.
LeVar's mean Sun draft pick range is 2.5.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
to infinity.
Yeah.
He actually wasn't drafted.
Oh, how many kids we have?
It's a lot of illegitimate sons.
On to that JV and Zion are not good fits next to each other. Porzingis Beal are phenomenal fits for each other. Throw in Kuzma, that's an incredible fit for those two. Throw in a rim protector like Gaff, he fouls a bit. Great fit next to them. But we suck. And JV and Zion have found a way to make it work. And my follow-up thing, is this thought exercise going back in time and being this is what it looked like then? Or is it being Professor 2020 hindsight, being able to be wow, why'd you fucking say that, idiot? Because...
I'm not going to say that, what?
But also wow, why didn't you give Trey Murphy his flowers? That's fine. I didn't either.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't think Herb Jones was going to be all defense?
I didn't know
That's
about,
so cringy.
I didn't know about Herb Jones until opening night when he was starting for us.
There's a new Herb called Jones. I might take next just because I think my laptop could die. It's currently on 36%. Anything below 50 is it might die. So Lucas took Boston. I don't have what Boston did overall, but I've just taken away my key points, which is what I assume you guys did. And I really wanted to listen back to what you and Dante said so I could talk about what you guys talked about rather than what overall the Boston Celtics did. However, they re-signed Marcus Smart and Robert Williams on extremely team-friendly deals. They brought in Al Horford, who ended up being instrumental to their playoff run and finals appearance. they also have they signed Bo Cruz, who ended up being a
movie star.
And Enes Kanter, the season he ended up getting a bounty on his head and becoming Enes Freedom. There is a $500,000.
Such good press.
500k on Enes Kanter's head by a Turkish someone or other. I would say so. November 2021. It was what do you say? Yeah, issued.
That was actually really quick.
That was also reported by GreekReporter.com, and there hasn't been a follow-up article. It was me. But one of you gave him a B plus, and Sean gave him the C plus. Both, I think, probably bad grades in hindsight.
I think B plus is fine.
I think B plus is fine, but like. Yeah, I guess B plus is fine, but I feel like this is like an A at the minimum.
I don't think because it wasn't the perfect. I don't think it was the perfect offseason because then they had to go and get Derek White to make themselves like really good. I think
that's true, but they had one NBA player out, and NBA player being Evan Fournier, and 3 NBA players in, as well as re-signing 2 players being Marcus Smart and Robert Williams, which was followed by an NBA Finals appearance. So I think that they also went from being potential contenders to contenders, and I think
the next 5 years.
Yeah, and
true.
I just think
very true.
Yeah, that's like
also they signed Ime Udoka.
Oh no, sorry, I guess I was done. I just think great off season, and I think that B plus has to be like. I think that's below the lower end of what they did. I think A is the lower end.
Yeah.
They did everything correct.
Yeah.
And that never happens. Like, no NBA team gets everything right. Like, even the David Griffin off season, where it's like, in hindsight, like, oh, a lot of this stuff is right. It's like, there's still
Devontae Graham.
Yeah, there's still that contract. Or like...
James Wiseman,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But, like, literally, they always get something wrong. Yeah. This Boston off season is, like, unbelievable. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Gotcha, bro.
Yeah, watch Hernan Graham. It's really good. Should we go
good
Remy?
press. Remy or me?
Remy, you go last.
Okay. Remy?
Shit.
Oh no, quick, unlock your phone,
What's your wallpaper?
It is Showrun. Not the pet. Only Patreon people.
Oh wow.
It is Lagos.
True, that is Lagos.
Yeah.
Well, you're trying to catch me
I just recognized.
It looks a lot like the 12 Apostles.
No, it's like being on the Great Ocean Road, but you're in Portugal and everything's cheap in Portuguese.
Yeah.
and way better and not 3 hours away from that.
They have always said that about Lagos.
We're like the North 12 Apostles.
They actually have 12 there as well.
Damn.
What did Dante and I give Portland Trailblazers?
Dante gave the Portland Trailblazers a C, and you gave them a C+.
Sick.
So, I guess the Blazers kind of continued their streak of trading out a first-round pick and trading in someone who's just rotation, trying to provide a bit of defense. And that was in Larry Nance Jr. this time. The year before was Robert Covington, and I think there was a bit of a false flag from the 2019 Western Conference Finals where they thought they were better than they actually were. So they re-signed Norman Powell to a 5 for $90. They signed Ben McLemore, Cody Zeller, Tony Snell, Marquise Chris, and Dennis Smith Jr., all of which are gone.
You mean Cody Zeller of the Miami Heat?
Yeah, true.
Does he love money?
Very sorry, bro.
And we lost Zach Collins, Enes Kanter, later Enes Freedom, and Carmelo Anthony, and traded Derrick Jones Jr.
Later, Enes Freedom sounds like he died.
They also drafted Greg Brown. Let's not go over
Yeah.
The Greg Brown.
It was a second-round pick. It is on the
God, get
Jesus.
Far, I did not know Norman Powell got that many years on his
Yeah.
contract.
He's still on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think one of Lucas's big things is like Portland's like a wasteland for role players, and you've noted that like they'll just give up any opportunity to draft someone young to bring in someone who they're just gonna like force to shit the bed.
Yeah.
You've only been around for like 2 years, but and I've done it for 12.
It's the same
But like,
thing.
how hard is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How hard is it? It's
sucks.
so hard to
Yeah.
sit through.
And like what you just said, Robert Covington, really bad for you.
Yeah.
Good again when he went to LA.
Yeah.
Larry Nance, not great for you. Really good again when he moved to New Orleans.
Norman Powell, still not that great.
Yeah.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
Crazy that he would go to the Clippers and stay bad though. I'm still shocked by it. I don't know how he's bad.
Is he bad?
Well, he's not bad, but he's
Yeah.
like not Toronto. Right?
Yeah.
What's Toronto? I should probably be
The third scorer.
How do you spell?
And like can actually be
You see how they
6'3", doesn't have to
spell
act like he's
that?
6'7".
Correct, because
Yeah.
Portland were trying to make
Trying to claim it.
Portland were trying to make him Alfred
Yeah.
Camino, which was
Yeah.
never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because no one, and I mean no one, will ever be Alfred.
One was the prince of their village in
Yeah.
Cameroon.
Well, no, I mean, okay, sure. Pretty sure, I don't know, Embiid or Siakam, they both Cameroon.
Yeah.
But it was in the like this off season they were like
The prince of the village.
Norman Powell gives the Clippers so much wing depth, and it's like fucking man, if you're going from like what 7'4" wingspan Kawhi to Norman Powell on the wing, like, that's a huge defensive
He's a
downgrade.
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone know his middle name? Because it just says WC.
Wash
Double-
closet.
That's what I was.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but it's like it's the operation was a success, but the patient died. You signed a really good guy who should be a wing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he's not a wing. You just did it.
That had no right to be as funny as it was. That was so funny.
Wasn't even a good one.
I hope the listener giggled.
Norman. Remy, how old is Norman Powell?
Oh, he's 29?
Yeah.
Oh
bang,
shit!
bang.
Too
He's not
old.
30. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm excited for when he gets traded to Utah and he becomes Mormon Powell.
Oh.
Well,
Next team?
Yeah, speaking of Utah, I did Cleveland. So I think the boys gave D&D plus for the drafting of Evan Mobley, signing of trade and sign of Jared Allen, and then a massive signing
No, that
of
was
Markkanen.
That was early in the season because Allen was part of the change.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They
So it was-
they extended him.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
So that it was the extension, it was the Markkanen extension, and it was the drafting of Mobley. They still had Bickerstaff as their coach, and it was sort of like, are they just retaining him like because they had him for the half season? It was all really like, and I remember again hindsight, I remember being like, yeah, like why are you paying Markkanen? It was 4 for 70 something or 69. Nice. I apologize to everyone listening.
So 69's a sex position.
Yeah, what's the sex number? It was like, why are you paying this power forward / centre to be your small forward with JB Bickerstaff as your coach, and you're drafting Evan Mobley and then putting Markkanen in front of him, right? It then comes out that Mobley's fucking unreal. The Allen deal is already was underpaying him like as soon as it started. As soon as he started playing well, it was like, oh shit, he's only on 20. They've got like they can build something here because they're paying him nothing. They're paying Mobley nothing. And they started marking him at the 3 and let him do what he's actually good at, which is like shooting threes and dribbling the basketball. So like
That's good.
it was such an amazing. And then the Markkanen deal like was, you know, I think some of the conversations in the NBA cognoscenti was like, are they just retaining the asset and bumping the money up in case they want to swing something? And then they did. They swung for Donovan Mitchell. Markkanen's a fucking all-star.
Yeah.
And actually an all-star, not a D'Angelo Russell all-star. He's good at basketball. And Cleveland
All-star starter, and Ja Morant wasn't.
yeah, cop that dickhead. Laser pointers in Utah the next time the Grizzlies are there. And the Cavs are a legit top 4 in the East, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, man. With all those guys, Mobley's under contract for like 2 more years, and then like normally the team that drafts them retains them after the rookie deal. Allen's locked in for 4 more. Mitchell's locked in for 3. They're chilling. They're chilling.
Yeah, no, that one looks really bad. Because Larry Markkanen is a 3. It just worked out that he's a 3-4.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. And yeah, he just got a whole lot better than I thought he was going to be. And Evan Mobley, even though it's a janky fit, can just defend 5 positions.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Didn't know those things.
The 3-2 zone, like they did everything right, and like, but you wouldn't have. I don't think anyone could have guessed that any of those things would have hit outside of the Mobley pick was good. He was like the fact that he dropped a 3 was like wonderful, right? And like the Allen signing, it's like, well, of course you're going to sign him. You just traded for him. But to have all of those little decisions work out with like the 3-2 zone with 3 7-footers like roaming around and stuff, you just wouldn't have picked it.
It also worked out well that Darius Garland just became an all-star point guard.
Oh, true. I didn't even mention him. He's under control for another 4 years.
Yeah, but this wasn't part of the offseason. We weren't grading him.
No, but when I did my whole like soliloquy.
Yeah. So Darius Garland, one of the best young point guards.
Yeah. Kind of good.
I was about to say, was this an off-season where they like positioned themselves to be very maneuverable depending on how good they were in the season? And I was going to say yes, and then I've sort of been thinking about it. I'm not sure anymore. Because like if this didn't hit, then like they were in a pretty bad situation.
Yeah.
Like if Markman wasn't good, then like that's about
then you're paying him for 4 years.
Yeah.
Or you're trading him for nothing.
Yeah.
You're not getting value.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But because he was good, they could just attach the picks to it and get the value.
Yeah, it completely laid the floor, but it laid the floor for them like becoming a contender basically, for making a big swing for a really good player.
Yeah.
Which is, very admirable of, their front office to be like, cool man, like if Mobley's legit, then that's where we are.
Yeah.
Like,
and then you're right. If you're comparing that to the Boston off season where like Boston knew what they were getting and they just did what they had to do and they just signed all the right pieces. Cleveland's one was...
It's a huge swing.
Well, yeah, it's risky.
Yeah.
It's risky. We're going to sign the guy that's been shit for 3 years, that's been shit since his rookie season because, like, no one's playing him in the right position and we're just going to, like, sign him and see what happens. And they ended up doing, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like, also at the start of that season, I feel like I didn't know a single person that was, like, that didn't say... Well, are the Cavs just going to play all 3 7-footers? And then, like, game 1, I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to just play all 3 7-footers. It worked out really well. Larry Markkinen. This shocked me, so maybe it's a bit of trivia time. Does anyone know what number he's wearing for the Utah Jazz?
22?
I'm going to take those as final answers.
Oh my
and
God.
2 no answers.
23?
It's 23.
Yeah.
I thought it was 25. I was so shocked when I saw 23.
Yeah, 23. Walker Kessler wearing 24. The 20 brothers.
The 20 brothers.
better than Kobe and Jordan?
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
Tony
true.
brothers.
Shit, holy moly.
I'd argue Kessler's got the best hands of the 4.
Kobe can never catch a love like that.
I never saw Kobe and Jordan in real life. So,
Well, I'm having a good time talking to you guys. Would you like to play a game of categories?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you guys don't know how to play this, and the listener, you can play along at home because I'm sure there'll be a little bit of and ahhing.
Can we buzz in?
No.
What's the game?
So we go around in a circle, and then I say a category, and it's going to be in an order, and you have to go in order, and if you can't say it in a reasonable amount of time, then you're out, and then you just have to be out for the rest of the game, and the last man standing wins. The category is the 2021 NBA draft in order. So I'll start it, and I won't be in the game. Well, a lot of shaking. Marco's the only one who wants to win. I'll start.
Well, you got the easy one.
Just so you can. I'll start, and then we'll go around in clockwise, just so you can get your brains working about what the fuck was that draft. So I'm going to say the first player. You're going to say second, third, fourth, fifth, and we'll keep going until we're out of people.
Oh, mine's between 2. Fuck.
The first player to be drafted was Cade Cunningham to the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, you got the easy one.
Who was second?
I know. Wait, is it?
It's easy.
I'm between 2 players. Okay, well, I'm going to pick Scotty Barnes.
Incorrect.
Fuck!
Oh,
Who
no.
was the second player?
Jalen Green?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mobley.
Scotty Barnes.
Fifth pick, Marco.
Oh, far
I think I've got it.
Oh my god, I've blanked completely. No, it wasn't Josh Giddey, was it?
It wasn't.
No.
Suggs. Jalen
Yeah,
Suggs, the fifth pick. Who was the sixth pick?
Giddy was You're getting handed it.
Yeah. Alright, keep going.
Seventh pick was?
Kuminga.
Correct. Eighth pick was?
I got this one as well. I'm on here.
Remy can also phone either of his friends who have been eliminated.
What team was it?
Nah, that's a dead giveaway.
Well, I know the 9th pick.
True.
I don't know the night.
Alright, so this team's already drafted. This is the second player that they're drafting.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but you're just going to win, obviously.
I don't know the 9.
Josh Christen. No.
No, he was like 30.
Franz Wagner.
Was
Davion.
Davion.
And then I don't know 10.
We talked about him before.
Oh no, I got this wrong.
Nah, who's 10?
Traded for Statums, essentially.
Yeah, was it a centre?
Zaire.
So
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that was the
nice.
10th pick. God, we traded down really well.
Yeah, no, legit.
Because what's he doing these days?
Memphis are doing everything they can to make sure he's bad.
Yeah.
Like they're actually going at it. They're actually going out of their way.
Isn't
to
he playing the G League?
They've produced all of these products, and then they went and like traded up for this 10th pick, like 3-and-D wing, 6'8". He's got the body of like LeBron, Paul George.
Is he not like way bigger than 6'8"?
He's big.
I reckon he's like 6'11".
Really?
He fucking he wears it tall.
He's got the arms for sure.
Yeah.
But Memphis is just like, we're gonna keep playing Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah, and David Roddy.
11th
Yeah,
pick.
thicker boy.
11th pick was James Booknight, then Josh Primo,
I would have gotten them.
Chris Duarte.
No, he was 14.
Yeah, Chris Duarte. Classic 13.
Corey Kispert.
Corey Kispert, 15.
Yeah.
16, arguably the best player in the draft.
Giannis.
Alperen Şengün.
Şengün.
And then Trey Murphy.
And then Trey Murphy.
Arguably the best player in the draft.
I think it was a joke.
We just did like a whole thing on Cleveland.
I hope it was a joke, is what I meant to say.
Hey, the best abilities available.
And then Trey Murphy, 17th pick.
Good
That-
pick.
That was the end of the first round.
That's such a good pick. Trey Murphy's so much better than Zaire Williams. And you got Valanciunas from it.
And there's a lot of shit between 1 and 17
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Well, he's better than Jalen Green,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Can you guys name anyone from the second round? Shout them out.
Isaiah Todd.
Herb Jones.
Isaiah Todd.
Who did you say before? Desumnu?
Yeah, just some new.
Greg Brown.
What,
We're doing better in the second round.
Any news from Greg Brown recently?
I'll click on his.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Sam
'Cause he was-
Hauser?
Sorry, I'm off the
Ooh.
page.
I always waved it.
But he was like he was
Was
like
he-
a pretty
I
good
feel like he was
prospect
the
coming out of
16th
high
pick.
school. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
No,
Yeah,
that
just
wouldn't
had
be
that
right.
face.
Nah, that was Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. Jay Scrub is also in the second
Yeah.
round, so I remember that.
Who's that?
Damn.
I think that's the
no,
NFL.
undrafted 2021. Damn. I like
yeah,
that.
he played. Greg Brown this year played 16 games for the Trailblazers, averaged 1.8 points, shot 39% from the floor and 14% from three.
Jesus,
Damn.
what number?
Bam Adebayo on a good day.
Yeah, that's right.
42% from the free throw line.
Oh, God.
Cool lad, but he's cool.
A bit of Johnny Davis about it.
Gregory James Brown. Gregory James Brown.
It's a good name.
Well,
Like James
the third.
Brown.
Yeah, like James.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question for Remy?
What's your favourite James Brown?
For me, it's Papa's got a brand new bag.
Mine's the payback. That's you're asking.
Anyone want to know my fourth favourite colour?
Pass the peas.
Yeah. Oh, should we do the 2021 draft, but we draft colours instead?
Could it be any year, or was it how good colours?
Yeah, it was how good they looked coming out of high school.
What's
in
your
2020.
fourth favorite color?
Maybe.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say brown.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Because Greg Brown the third.
No, because of Jalen Green.
How many colours were drafted? No.
That year?
That is fucking
Me too.
on the edge of.
Yeah.
Should we name all the colour players?
Should-
Jalen Brown, Derek White, Jalen Green.
That's a little bit on the-
Yeah, I thought you were going a completely different direction.
He was 3 for 3 though.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard.
Painting Pritchard.
Wow.
Jericho Sims, 58th pick.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was his total fucking dunk contest.
Why did
Yeah.
Why did New
Got
York
that.
have the 58th pick? Some useless second rounder. Hey, that's nice.
They
They
would've
actually
got-
drafted someone well.
Yeah.
Like with
Alright, I'm just going to keep going on this. Who has scored the most total points?
From the class.
Oh fuck! I was gonna go. I thought that was a gimme. I thought that was LeBron.
Green?
yeah, I feel like it might be Green.
It's
Jalen Green's
Yeah.
Can we do?
Again,
what about
What
play?
about assists? Giddy is correct.
Mm.
This is good. What about minutes played?
Green.
Shengun.
Shengu.
I was going to say
No,
green as well, but
it'd be a
I was
playoff
just kidding.
Chris Duarte?
Scotty Barnes.
Yes.
Oh, really? True.
Yeah. Playoffs.
Yeah.
Who's got the most win shares per 40?
Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
No, it's Jaden Springer.
Sorry to any Jaden Springer fans out there.
Yeah, Evan Mobley. It's kind of weird that he's not actually in the top.
They lost a lot of games. Oh, no, but he was injured.
Mm.
I'm out. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
I just got work.
Personally, I got work.
I got futsal at 10 p.m. though.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
Ew.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. Damn, man.
Can never sleep after those games.
Yeah, because you're pumped up on,
Yeah.
on adrenaline.
Legit.
Well, he drinks Cokes after the games as well.
Don't.
Dude.
And during.
Don't.
And during.
No, he doesn't drink Cokes anymore. He just has 6
They
super.
call they call him the Wilt Chamberlain of social futsal because he drinks Coke during the games.
Little known Wilt Chamberlain. He used to drink Coke during the game.
No, he used to drink 7-Up
Oh.
and smoke ciggies at half time.
Did he smoke ciggies at halftime?
Yeah.
Apparently he was a really good bloke too.
I think Wilt Chamberlain made it cool to smoke ciggies.
Really?
Everyone else
It
was
wasn't
just all
cool.
dying. He was just dropped 50 after he smoked a ciggy.
Now Luka Doncic is doing it.
Who can
True.
Doncic?
He's cool. Time for dessert.
Yeah. True.
What's dessert?
All right, let's wrap it up. All right,
Custard. So, Pastry Paradise Laylaw, if people want to have some delicious Italian pastries on May
Can
Street.
you not dox us? That's where we're recording. Sorry,
Actually,
I
I
don't know,
was
I
going
don't
to
get-
dox you and say happy birthday for the other day.
that's not fair.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks, man.
Well, he actually was going to say happy birthday and mad invite, but you fucked him on that one.
Yeah, fuck, sorry.
Yeah.
Pastry Paradise Laylaw does fantastic Italian pastries, and tonight we're having cartocci, which are deep fried Italian donuts rolled in sugar and piped with fresh custard.
Fucking.
Wait a
Zia
second.
Bomber.
I spoke right in the middle of that. What did you say?
I'm not saying anything.
Can I have one?
Listen to it.
Can I have one?
Alright, thanks for coming on. See you later. We were over the moon when we first heard that the NBA was going to be televised on Australian free-to-air TV in the 2019-20 season. It didn't exactly go swimmingly with the nasty cough halting the season and games getting cancelled left, right and centre, but it was a huge step and an exciting one for basketball fans all across the country.
Better yet, it wasn't a commercial channel cashing in on some basketball nerds like us. It was SBS, one of our public broadcasters. Unfortunately, the NBA wasn't the only thing SBS was pushing last season. They also ran advertisements from Sportsbet, Ladbrokes, Bet365, BetEasy, and Neds, some of the biggest sports betting companies in Australia.
In a one step forwards, two steps backwards move, SBS has dropped the ball here. As a public broadcaster, SBS plays a key role in providing relevant, culturally appropriate health information to local communities. The last thing SBS should be doing is offering a platform for gambling companies during the most financially unstable time in recent memory.
This past year, men aged 18 to 24 made up 79% of new gambling account holders, with increased median spending and frequency of bets. This is the last thing we should be spending our money on given the financial uncertainty that comes with the pandemic. During COVID lockdowns, wagering companies spent more money on advertising and incentives to gamble, and it worked. SBS needs to hear from viewers that gambling ad revenue isn't worth the harm it causes. Call on the SBS chair, George Savitas, to put community health ahead of gambling revenue by signing the petition at www.endgamblingads.org.au/get gambling off SBS with hyphens in